Durag Wisdom here, folks. And we are in the midst of the second month of the bastard, totalitarian bastards invasion of our free country, and we gotta fight. We have to fight to get rid of this creep and his GOP totalitarians. Folks, democracy, the fight toward pure democracy has been something big, something complicated for our country. I mean, we fled totalitarian monarchies, okay? I mean, they talk about the Pilgrims coming here, the Puritans to flee religious persecution, stuff like that. So here, these colonists braving the high seas. And back in those days when you traveled around the world, it wasn't a picnic. And they got here, and you know, the seeds were planted for the beginning of a building of a new kind of democratic society. Okay, now, we got a Declaration of Independence. We got a Constitution. We had an American Revolution. But you know something? In the early days of our country, we had slavery, right? We took human beings and enslaved them and raped them and murdered them and used them and abused them every way possible. Women weren't allowed to vote. Only rich white men were allowed to vote. You see? We had no health care. We had no Social Security. Our free country, at the time that it was founded, is nothing like the way our free country is today. Of course, they're still trying to take away our freedoms, the corporations and the stupid Democrats and, of course, the Republicans. So here we are. We came to this country, and we're used to this being ruled by kings and queens, rich scumbags. We come to this country and we start the process of building a democratic society. So, as time went on, you could see the years passed, the decades passed. Black people were freed, yet they were still discriminated against. There were still Jim Crow laws. You still had, women weren't allowed to vote. Black people weren't allowed to vote. But as time went on, more and more people were allowed to vote. They were, the government became more humane. Social programs developed. If it wasn't for liberalism, for progressivism, we'd still be in a country of Puritans burning witches, quote unquote, witches at the stake. And by the way, if anybody does observe witchcraft or whatever it is they do, hey, everybody has a right to their religion. I'm an atheist. But if you want to be religious, that's up to you. I'm a live and let live person. I'm not a Trumpist piece of shit that wants to destroy people. True Europeans came here and founded the country. True, they invaded and did all kinds of genocide on the native peoples from North America all the way down to South America. I mean, today they have the nerve to say, get rid of all these immigrants. We're all immigrants in this country. We came here, we displaced the native populations, and then we decided we're going to make at some point in our history, a democratic republic. And eventually, maybe down the road, if we don't get destroyed, we'll have an actual democracy, a multi-party democracy. Which doesn't change the fact that we all outright stole this land from native inhabitants. In fact, I don't want to get off on this other thing, white people have felt entitled to run all over the world and take away lands from native populations. Because after all, white is right, right? You know, I like to take the white race and flush it down the toilet for an hour and see how it likes it. All right, so here we are, still fighting for our democracy. We're still fighting for our democratic republic because throughout our history, there's always been forces to detract, to destroy. And here we are at a crucial point in our history. We have been invaded by another power in a cyber attack. They have installed, so to speak, a hostile enemy force into our government. And now we have to fight the revolution again. You have to fight it, folks, because you have to understand that democracy is not something that you're given as a gift. It's something that you have to fight for every step of the way. And the way to make a purely democratic society is to make a humane society where people have health care, where people have labor, where workers have rights, where women have a right to choose, where people of every religion, every sexual orientation, every race has equal opportunity. We have a Statue of Liberty, which has a poem at the bottom, which welcomes immigrants. And this new administration that's been installed by the Russians and the FBI is dedicated to bringing back every oppressive way, every oppressive situation they possibly can. You leave it up to Paul, Eddie Munster shithead, Ryan, we'll have the Gilded Age again, where children had to work, where people were abused at their jobs, there was no health care, there was no middle class, there was no unions. I've read 1984 more than 60, 70 times over my lifetime. And it's taught me to recognize totalitarian shit when I see it. And let me tell you, these people here that have invaded our country, who have invaded us to stop us. We're on a quest in this country. We're on a quest for pure democracy, like the Lord of the Rings, and all these big quest movies. And now the Dark Lord, Sauron, has arisen up to stop us from our quest toward pure, humane democracy. So don't believe anything this shithead Trump and his party says. Everything he's doing now is a distraction. While he's distracting you with this bullshit about being overheard, wiretapped, you know he's using doublethink. If you've read 1984, he's using doublethink. When he says McCarthy, when the Trump and Stuppen birther bastard says McCarthy, when he's talking about Nazis, when he's saying he's being invaded, he is the source of fascism, of fake news, of the destruction of our society. Okay? He is. He is the Dark Lord, stopping us from achieving pure democracy. So remember, it's been in stages. It is evolving. Our country is still evolving. It's only 240 years old. It is still evolving. And if you want it to continue evolving and continuing to exist, it has to be liberal. The Constitution has to be interpreted in a liberal fashion, not in a dead conservative fashion. You have to wake up, you read 1984, you have to study your Constitution, appreciate that we're still going through an evolving process, and we can't allow the Trumps, the GOP, the Nazi Bannons, the Nazi Millers, the racist Sessions, his creepy cabinet to take away everything our country stands for and to stop us on our quest to pure democracy. This is important. Think about it.